So let's dive right in. We're going to talk about how a 75-year-old principle, something created to rebuild the entire world's economy, is now, believe it or not, the most important factor in whether AI can even see you online. It really all comes down to speaking a universal language. And this quote it hits the nail on the head. In today's world, especially with AI running the show, if you're not telling the same story everywhere, you might as well not exist. Yeah, the stakes are that high. And here's the crazy part. We're going to connect this huge historical moment to a problem you're probably facing right this second. It turns out the solution from 1947 is the key to your visibility today. But before we get to the solution, you have to understand the problem they were facing. So let's go back in time to post-war London. The world was trying to put itself back together, and it was a mess. Okay, picture it. It's 1947. The world is just shattered after World War II. You've got leaders from 25 different countries in a single room, and they have this massive problem to solve. Global trade is basically dead in the water. How on earth do you restart it? And this is what they were up against. It was just complete and utter fragmentation. It wasn't just about speaking different languages. It was about everything being incompatible. Every single country had its own rules, its own measurements, its own definitions for quality. It was pure chaos. And this wasn't some abstract, high-level problem. I mean, think about it. You're a factory in Britain, and you literally can't make a part that fits a machine in America. A brilliant engineer in France picks up a German blueprint, and it's gibberish. It was impossible to get anything done. The global economy was paralyzed. So what do? Well, out of all that chaos, this really revolutionary idea started to form. A solution that wasn't about forcing everyone to be the same, but about creating a shared system that everyone could understand and, this is the important part, that everyone could trust. And boom, the International Organization for Standardization, what we all know as ISO, was born. And just look at how fast this thing took off. In just a couple of years, these universal standards went from being just an idea in a conference room to becoming the invisible backbone of the entire global economy. Now, here's the real genius of it. ISO wasn't just writing down a bunch of rules. It was creating something called semantic stability. You can think of it as a shared vocabulary, a common dictionary, so that a quality certification from Canada meant the exact same thing in Brazil. Suddenly, everyone was speaking the same language. And the result of that? It was so simple, but so powerful. Consistency created trust. If your business followed these universal standards, you were a trusted player on the world stage. And if you didn't, well, you were basically invisible. Okay, so cool history lesson, right? But what in the world does this have to do with you and your brand, right now, trying to show up in AI search results? Well, turns out it has everything to do with it. Because here's the thing. That exact same problem of fragmentation from 1947, it's happening all over again. The only difference is the arena. It's not happening in factories and shipping yards, it's happening online. And so we need a modern-day universal standard. We call it Cross-Platform Identity Coherence. It sounds fancy, but the idea is simple. It's about being incredibly disciplined and using the exact same language, the same definitions everywhere you show up online. That's how you build a unified identity that an AI can actually trust. And just look at this. This is the perfect example. On the left, you've got a fragmented identity. A digital transformation consultant on the website, a business strategist on LinkedIn. To a human, this might seem fine, just little variations. But to an AI, these look like 4 different people. Now look at the right. Coherent. One title, one identity, everywhere. That is what an AI can see. And more importantly, trust. So let's get into the why. Why is this consistency so non-negotiable for an AI? How does a machine actually decide to trust you or your business? You have to remember, AI is basically a giant pattern matching engine. It's constantly crawling the web, looking for these signals. Is the terminology the same? Are the definitions identical? Are the core attributes of you or your business consistent? These are the little data points it pieces together to build a picture of who you are. And this chart, well, it lays out the outcome in a pretty brutal way. The relationship is crystal clear. The more consistent you are, the higher the AI's trusting you. But any contradiction, any little bit of fragmentation, and you get what's called identity drift. The AI literally can't get a stable read on you, so it just gives up. It stops trusting you, and it stops showing you to others. Okay, So we get the problem, we see the stakes, so what do we do about it? Well, just like ISO gave the world a framework for commerce, we need a framework for digital identity. And here it is. It's a pretty simple 3-step process. First, standardization. You sit down and define your identity once. This is your single source of truth. Second, deployment. You take that language and you copy-paste it everywhere, no tweaks. And third, verification. You have to constantly audit yourself online, hunt down those little inconsistencies, and fix them. So that framework is the what. But let's make this super practical. What can you do right now, as soon as this is over, to start building that coherence? Here are 4 things you can actually do. 1, standardize. Open up a document and literally write down your core identity, your titles, your descriptions. 2, deploy. Go to your website, your LinkedIn, your YouTube, all of it, and update your bios with that exact text. 3, audit. This one's fun. Go ask ChatGPT or Perplexity, who is your name? You might be shocked by what you find. 4, build loops. Start linking your platforms together. Mention your website in your videos, link your podcasts from your articles. These are the little signals that prove to an AI that it's all one coherent you. So, it all comes full circle, doesn't it? The principle that rebuilt the world in 1947 is the same principle that governs visibility today. Trust comes from consistency, and visibility demands a universal language. So the only question you have to ask yourself is, are you speaking one? Or are you, to the AI systems that are shaping our world, completely invisible?